All right, we are live as the Brewers get a win. Oh man, that game had everything. That game was 3 hours and about 17 minutes or so. That one had just about everything. But the Brewers get another win. They are 8-2 with an 8-6 victory over the Boston Red Sox. Welcome in a special edition of the Hunter Baumgart Show. Thought we'd go live and talk about the game tonight because this one was one of those where, well, I plan to go live either way, but then but then this game, as it's going on, it's like, oh, this is going to be a fun one to talk about. Of course, the Willson Contreras dust up quarrel, whatever you want to say, that is going to be the biggest story probably. But guy, this team is 8-2. This team is rolling, and I know it's all American League opponents, and you can like or dislike the interleague play and everything like that, but this was just a Brewers type of win in every sense of the word, and they keep having them. It's not like this just happens once. It seems nearly every win by the Brewers so far this season, and nearly every game. I mean, you think about the two losses, and it was an inning that got away against the Royals and a one-run loss to the Rays on a two-out high fastball hit by Fortes of the Rays. That's what separates the Brewers from a 10-0 record right now. You think of all the things they did well last year, they're doing them all mashed together again this year, and they know they're good at it. So comment, leave a subscribe to the YouTube, whatever you want to do, but feel free. I want to hear your thoughts on the game. You can comment on the Willson Contreras dust up. You can comment on how good this team has been. They're showing that stat late in the game on Brewers TV about run differential, the eighth inning or later. They were coming in at plus 13. Then they added to that because they scored 3 runs. Now the Red Sox got that late home run by Contreras, but otherwise this team is so good in the eighth inning or late or later. Looks like we have a Boston fan coming in. BPG Josiah says that was embarrassing. Boston fans, I feel for you right now. 2-8 start to the season, and just finding ways to lose. And there's teams that find ways to win, and there's teams that find ways to lose. The Brewers are finding ways to win, and it seems the Red Sox are finding ways to lose. That's just how it's going so far. And look, there's so many more. There's 152 games remaining in the 2026 season, so there's a lot to play. But right now, the Brewers are 8-2 for the 4th time in franchise history, and it just seems all facets are rolling. And Brandon Woodruff, I tell you, you look at the box score and you don't love exactly what it says, but Brandon Woodruff pitched really well tonight. And what impressed me the most is his ability to, late in the outing, like he did against Tampa, is get stronger. You saw even the velo go up towards the end of the outing. He retired the last 6 batters he faced. He went back out for that 6th inning, was able to get 2 outs, give the Brewers as much length as he could tonight because they were thin. Pat Murphy said it before the game. They were thin tonight in the bullpen, but Woodruff came out, did what he needed to do. Then you had Ashby. And then there's my unsung hero of 2026 so far, and that's Grant Anderson. Pitches a 1-2-3 8th inning. Angel Serpa, the hiccup with Willson Contreras, but otherwise he was dynamite in the 9th as well. So want to hear from you. We got, hey, Mike, good to hear from you. Old school length of game. That's no doubt about that. 100%. Let's see. Yelich base running in the 8th and 3 more hits. My goodness. That's a great point, too. They're 8-2 without Churio. They're 8-2 without Vaughn, who I saw in that dugout cheering on his teammates. They're 8-2 without Priester. And, of course, Koenig goes on the IL today as well. So the base running that you bring up, Mike, I think that is something to consider. Pat Murphy goes out of his way, obviously, to give William Contreras a lot of credit behind the plate a lot. And he deserves a lot, right? We heard Kyle Harrison rave about it. We've heard a lot of pitchers rave about the way Contreras calls the game back there. But he also, his second thing, I think the thing he likes to talk about maybe second most at the podium, Pat Murphy, is Yelich's base running. Whenever we bring up, credit to the base running, the stolen bases, the coaches, the first base coach, kind of the influences on the Brewers base running as a whole, he talks about Christian Yelich and being the leader in that department and being the guy who the other guys around him follow and watch how he runs bases. He is one of the best, if not the best, at running the bases. Is he the fastest guy in baseball? No, but he can make up for some of that with how he runs the bases. That play in that, what was it, the 8th inning is exactly what he's talking about, right? He's talking about Yelich getting that ball was a base hit, and he was at first base. Now, I know there was a throwaway, but the guy was nearly to third base by the time the throw crossed the foul line. And that allowed him, even with slowing up at third base, to watch where the throw was going to go. Even with that, that allowed him to get home. And the slide, the dive, he knew he was safe. And even though the Red Sox challenged it, they won it. And so I think it's example 1 million of Christian Yelich's base running being dynamite. Want to hear from you. We've got, let's see here. We've got Donna saying, what a grinder of a game. No doubt about it. That was the definition of a grinder of a game. A battle. The Brewers are so good at the battle and winning the battle. They have been, and Pat Murphy preaches it, and it makes so much sense why. Grant, good to hear from you. I don't think I appreciated how bad the Anthony was throw was in real time. That thing was awful. And there's no doubt, like, we can give Yelich credit for the base running for sure, but that throw was way off. Like, yeah, that was, Terang, that would have been a close play at the plate, I think, if that throw was online. And Terang might have been out if that throw. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I think you're onto something there, Grant, where that throw is on, and that might have been a completely different looking play. And that was way up the line. Yelich is able to get in. Yelich just looks like a man on a mission right now, doesn't he? I mean, the emotion he showed with the home run against the White Sox, the emotion he showed with the dive into home plate tonight. That guy, as we know, doesn't show a lot of emotion, but it seems that guy is just a man on a mission so far, and his stats are showing it too. The guy is hitting the cover off the baseball right now. So that's something I've noted too through these first 10 games is Yelich seems to be you'll just love seeing the emotion. Not that he's always cared as much as the next guy. I will never, ever question how much he cares. He's just more of a mild-mannered guy, whether it's a great moment or a bad moment, even keel. But he is showing that emotion, and I think Brewers fans are going to love it. Let me see here. Zach, appreciate you, Zach. Woody's outing was big time, big time, big time. It was because, like I said, Pat Murphy said before the game that they were thin out there. Now, you also had DL Hall warming at one point. You had Jake Woodford warming at one point. Interesting you didn't have Shane Drowan warming at any point. I have a feeling that Shane Drowan, especially with getting through tonight without having to go to Shane Drowan, and that goes back to what Zach just said, in the ability to have Woodruff go as far as he did. Woodruff going as far as he did allows you to not use as many arms in the bullpen, not get to Shane Drowan. I think Shane Drowan starts Wednesday. If I were to make a prediction right now, because now you get your relievers back a little bit, right? You get your McGill back. You get your Uribe back, assuming they recover after the busy weekend. And you obviously still have a DL Hall out there and a Jake Woodford out there and some other guys in that. But I just think as much as you don't want to be down a guy in that bullpen, with the rain out causing Chad Patrick he'll likely pitch Friday. You've got a TBA on Wednesday. I would think that coming up on Wednesday, that would be a Shane Drowan against his former organization in his big league debut. What a story that would be. That would be fun. So that looks to be where it's trending since he didn't get into tonight's game. Let me see. We got Robert chiming in saying the season is on the line tomorrow night with Crochet on the mound. So, Robert, I take it you're probably a Red Sox fan. I would caution you that, look, the Brewers did not get off. They weren't 2-9 or 2-8 last year, but they also did not get off to a good start. We all remember how the year ended, 97 wins and an NLCS berth. So, I'm not saying that, who knows? The Red Sox could have a tough year. However, I know it may feel like the season is on the line for the Red Sox tomorrow night, but you never know. Let me see here. Let's see. We got one coming in. At what point does Ashby's usage become a concern? I've kind of let that go because Pat Murphy's talked about how much he can just bounce back. Aaron Ashby himself is now priding himself on how much he can be available. This is a situation where I think we just kind of, I don't know, let that go. I mean, he's on pace for 140 innings. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily think he's going to get to 140 innings, but look, they stretched him out to be near a starter. He was, there was talk of maybe him being in consideration to be a starter. So I think a lot of innings could be in store, but I think it's going to come out of the bullpen. And I think they love how he's able to bounce back and they are going to use him as much as possible. And he talks about how he feels like he prides himself on bouncing back quickly. So if he's liking it and Pat Murphy is clearly liking using him, I don't know. I mean, at some point, yes. Does it become maybe an injury risk? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. But with both of them so gung-ho on this idea, I don't mind it. That's just so at what point do I get concerned? I don't know if I get concerned unless, an injury pops up. But look, an injury can pop up in anyway. Jared Koenig, left elbow sprain, goes on the IL today, and it's a possible UCL, and it's a big concern according to Pat Murphy, right? Things can pop up, but man, you like what he does out there and you like how he bounces back. So I'm not concerned yet, mainly because we saw him do this throughout, most of last season. He was injured to start the year, but once he came back, it was Ashby early and often. Let's see here. Nick says Garrett Mitchell got to be an early MVP contention. Yeah. So I'd say unsung hero is Grant Anderson. And I'd say MVP of the team so far. Boy, there's a couple good candidates. Yelich is up there too. He's just hitting like crazy. Garrett Mitchell is I believe tied now for the most RBIs in baseball right now. And Garrett Mitchell, to me, I was seeing so much slander on Garrett Mitchell throughout spring training, and I get the results weren't there. And even into the season, on the opening day roster and everything like that. And even, into the first week, and some of his at-bats don't look great, right? He had 3 punch-outs, and then he delivered late. So he was stranding base runners early in that ball game, and it almost came back to bite the Brewers, right? But he has also, especially this road trip, right? He's really been productive. And I think we had to give him, and still do to a certain extent, I personally would like to give him even a little more time. I think that the leash is long on him because he's missed so much time. But boy, it seems he's getting into a rhythm. It seems that, the live pitching, it's all kind of coming back to him now, that kind of thing. I have always been a fan of Garrett Mitchell. Just partly because he just has so much talent in there, and we just have not seen the full potential of him. And that's why I just have wanted him to be that everyday center fielder, because I just want to see what potential he has. And I think right now you're starting to see it. And even Pat Murphy admitted over the weekend, if you didn't see it, Todd Rosiak tweeting it out, and it was in the post-game press conference. Pat Murphy saying, look, I didn't think he was necessarily ready to be on the opening day roster, but the front office really did. And now you're seeing what can happen. And so, number one, I love Pat Murphy's honesty, but number two, I just want him to get everyday chances and see where it goes, because that guy can be a difference maker. And then you add that to the lineup. You add him as a cleanup hitter like he was tonight against a righty. Like I said, some not great at-bats early, but still comes through clutch late, and the Brewers go on to win 8-6 over the Red Sox. Thanks so much for hopping on here. Just thought I'd talk about tonight's ball game. Charles, what a game. Thank goodness they held on. Willson Contreras is bad news for Milwaukee in every way. So glad they beat the team he's on. Yeah, it's, you don't dislike the team as much as you dislike the Cardinals, right? Or even the Cubs. But I tell you, that guy is easily dislikable. That slide was awful. It was worse than, you can yell at the pitcher and think he threw at you. Woodruff didn't. Woodruff actually asked the umpire if it hit him once that happened. And he's not trying to load the bases with nobody out. Woodruff is a lot smarter than that. I'm sure we'll hear the quote soon coming out of the clubhouse in Boston. But what annoyed me more was the slide. That is ridiculous. I mean, you absolutely should not be doing that. That is, I mean, and again, it's just that and then he's yelling from the dugout as, as they're checking on David Hamilton. I mean, come on. I mean, what are we doing? So it's just so silly. I mean, but he was on base 5 times. He was 3 for 3 and got on a couple other, geez. Good player. Give him that. But I like where Lori's going here. We got the superior Contreras. I like the way you think on that. I also loved when he caught Durbin stealing, the little stare down, and the little smirk that early in the game. But if you caught it, William Contreras caught Caleb Durbin stealing, and with the little smirk on him. That was good. That was good. Don't you know how good I am at that? Don't you be running Caleb Durbin. Boy, Caleb Durbin actually had a nice night offensively, but he was 2 for 4. But I tell you, he was in the middle of that big inning early with a couple of balls going off his glove. Let's see. One error, and one obviously was not an error. Back row Beth says Mitchell has to be an everyday player. Yeah, he does. I think so too. Lockridge is dealing with a little hip pain, it sounds like. So you might see Garrett Mitchell in there again tomorrow. I think it should be less of a platoon probably, and just go with Garrett. I like it. Let me see what else here. But want to hear from you. Alan says the Brew City Bullies. The Brewers are playing pretty well. They're relentless. They're the definition of relentless. This team has scored. So they played 10 games, and they've scored 6 or more runs in 7 of the 10 games. Think about that. 6 runs. That's a lot of runs in 7 of the first 10 games. For an offense to just come out hot like that against anybody and everybody, that is impressive. Plus, early in the game, they weren't getting clutch. They weren't having clutch hitting at all. They were stranding runners left and right. So you imagine if they got a hit or two there, they'd be at 10-plus runs tonight. So, yeah, this is really, really impressive what the Brewers have done, especially offensively. They really have. So want to hear from you, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Brewers get an 8-6 win over the Boston Red Sox. Jacob Mizorowski on the mound tomorrow. You look at the lineup for the Brewers tonight, the only offers were Turang and Bowers. Turang over. You don't really see that very often, huh? Turang with an offer. He walked, though, in that big inning where they batted around. Again, Jake Bowers 0 for 4. He nearly hit one out, but hit one to the fence. But hopefully they're all, having their hot chocolate now. It was, windy, temps in the 40s. Tomorrow there's a chance of rain and snow in Boston, so that doesn't sound incredibly pleasant either. Also, one more thing I wanted to mention. Brewers are 5-2 when the opponent scores first. Think about that. The opponent has scored first in 7 of their 10 games. They've won 5 of those. So they're 5-2 when the opponent scores first. That means they have 5 of their 8 wins are come from behind victories. That's impressive. And again, it shows the fight, the battle, the type of team this has been for 2 years. And as I said on my Milwaukee Baseball Tonight show, Thursdays at 6 on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee, I said it on Thursday. This team knows their identity. It's proven that it works. Think about that. The last 2 years, the Brewers have proven that what this formula is works, right? The Pat Murphy formula, the relentless offense, the long at-bats, the stealing bases, the putting the pitcher on its heels because he doesn't know if you're going to steal or not. The threat of the steal, the putting pressure via base running, all of that. And obviously defense as well. They went the first 7 games without an error. That was a franchise record. So all of that combined, and some home runs obviously here or there because you need those once in a while too. But that identity of relentless offense and battling, they know they've known now that it has led to 2 straight division titles under Pat Murphy and an NLCS appearance last year. So they've proven that it's worked, and they're going out there with the confidence of those years behind them and going out and winning games in 2026. Because you just look at it, they're more confident than ever, I feel like, in what they do and how successful it is. Because you look up and down that lineup, and it's either guys who have been here under Pat Murphy and know it, right? First base, Jake Bauers, he knows it. Bryce Terang, he knows the identity. Okay, David Hamilton, you may not have been here, but he fits right in. And this is the type of player the Brewers like, the type of player that David Hamilton is, and he fits right in. Renjifo's been productive, a couple of tough ones tonight, but then he was productive in that 9th inning with the double and scoring. And then you look out in the outfield, right? Frelick obviously is the epitome of a Pat Murphy type of player. Garrett Mitchell has been around the team. He's learning it more and more. Obviously, Yelich knows it, or whoever's in left tonight. Blake Perkins, right? He knows it. I'm just, giving examples of the fact that they know who they are. They know that who they are works and leads to wins, and they're using that confidence and strolling into the box and stealing bases and taking a bigger lead because of it, and it's working. And the team is rolling. So they're 8-2 on the season. Red Sox, Brewers, game 2 tomorrow. The Red Sox are 2-8. There was chance of sell the team. They were bashing the Yankees. And I would be, if my team was 2-8 and it was that cold out, yeah, I might be a little restless too. That was not great. So yeah, let's see. I want to hear from you. Let's see. Shout out Grant Anderson for being a dog. Yeah, Grant Anderson has been absolutely dynamite. Let me look at Grant Anderson's stats so far this season. Because it has been absolutely dynamite. He has 3 holds already in the first 10 games. He's got 6 and 2/3 innings. He's pitched in 6 of the 10 games, and the guy's only given up 2 earned runs. He's got 7 strikeouts, 2 walks in 6 and 2/3. That ERA sitting at 2.70. So again, 6 games, 6 and 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Put that in the perspective of a starting pitcher, right? Oh, he threw 6 and 2/3 with 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. You take that every single day and twice on Sunday. So Grant Reed Anderson from Port Arthur, Texas, by the way. I tell you, he's rolling. He's out of McNeese State, by the way. Speaking of McNeese State, I know they're good in, college basketball sometimes, right? But anyway, Jacob Mizorowski against Garrett Crochet coming up tomorrow. It's going to be that's an epic battle. You got to admit, right? So looking forward to that tomorrow night. Brewers and Red Sox game 2, 5:45 first pitch in Boston again. And I'll have you on the pregame show, baseball pregame show on Fox Sports 920, 4:30 to 5:30. It'll be over there on their YouTube channel. So subscribe to Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch that 4:30 to 5:30. I'll have sound from Boston for Pat Murphy's pregame press conference. I'll have the lineups and everything to get you set for the game coming up tomorrow, and that'll be at 4:30 because it's an hour before. So 4:30 to 5:30, and then the Red Sox and Brewers get going at 5:45 coming up tomorrow. Any last comments here? Would love to hear from you as we react to a Brewers 8-6 win. They're 8-2 on the season. It's about as good as you could ask for. And they only need to win one of the next 2 to win the series again. I mean, you just keep going, right? You look at the NL Central. The Reds won again tonight. The Pirates finally lost. They had won 5 in a row. The Reds have won 4 in a row. They're 7-3. Pirates are 6-4. Cardinals lost tonight. They lost to the Nationals. Cardinals are 5-5, and the Cubs have lost a couple in a row. They're 4-6. And already 4 games back of the Crew. So, yeah, you like to see that, right? NL East, you got a bunch of 6-4 teams. They're like all bunched up. Miami, the Mets, and Braves. Dodgers are 8-2. What's new? So you look at the MLB records. The Yankees sitting still at 7-2. But they do not play tonight. So Dodgers and Brewers sit atop the Major League Baseball standings at 8-2 apiece. Brewers with an 8-6 win over the Boston Red Sox here tonight. And Christian Yelich was 3 for 4 with a double and a walk. Just absolutely. Christian Yelich is hitting .395 over the 10 games. I mean, I get it. It's only 10 games, but .395. I mean, Garrett Mitchell's hitting .333. Yeah, Yelich tonight, 3 for 4. He scored a run, obviously, drove in a run, walked once, did strike out once. That was his lone time he was retired. So he was up to bat 5 times, and he was on base 4. So fantastic by him. Good to see Frelick starting to come out of it as well. He had a tough start to the year, but he was 2 for 4 tonight with a run and a walk and a run driven in, especially with the injury that he had a couple of nights ago. It's good to see him back in the lineup. David Hamilton with a 1 for 2 night, couple of runs scored, couple of walks, also his bunt. The bunting, I memean, they're just playing so solid in every sense right now. The bullpen's been really good for the Brewers as well. Again, Red Sox scored 6 runs. 5 of those were against Woodruff. So really, really good. Cruising without Churio, Vaughn, and Priester. Yeah, that's what Mike had said earlier as well. That is exactly right. I mean, you think about it, and you also think about last year, right? The 14-game winning streak was without Jackson Churio, and I am in no way saying that they don't need Jackson Churio, because Jackson Churio added to this lineup makes it even better. But what I am saying is they have proven that they can win with depth because they just focus on getting a great 26-man roster to put together and plan for if there's injuries. They got Jake Bauers, right? Andrew Vaughn goes down. Bauers is going to play some more at first base. He had a great spring. Why not play him, right? Okay, you had an injury to Jackson Churio. How are you going to supplement it, right? Maybe that means a little more Garrett Mitchell and a little more Brandon Lockridge, both of which have performed so far. Even Matos had a good game yesterday. Perkins is still trying to come out of it. He's 1 for 4 today. He did have a sacrifice, I believe, so he's still trying to come out of it. But, boy, yeah, it has been impressive, especially with Yelich and Mitchell. In the middle of that lineup, like against righties, you have Yelich as your 3 and Mitchell as your 4 hitter. That sounds pretty good. So I'm going to wrap up tonight's show, but wanted to just discuss this one with you. This was a fun game. I'm going to be doing this throughout the season, whether it's, a road game, whatever it happens to be. Obviously, I'm at the park for home games. So follow me on all socials at Hunter B on air for coverage there. But that's Hunter B on air, the exact same handle as the YouTube. And feel free to like the Facebook if you're watching us over there and follow there. But I'll do this from time to time for sure, because it's fun. Just hop on and discuss Brewers baseball, especially when they're 8-2. By the way, Aaron Ashby got the win again tonight. The guy's just stacking up wins. Aaron Ashby is 3-0, and they've only played 10 games so far. Aaron Ashby's going to have like the most wins in the NL or something. I mean, if he pitches like he has been, and I know we had a concerned commenter earlier who said, at what point do we get concerned about Ashby's innings load? And I don't necessarily think we're there yet, and I don't necessarily think I will be, just because it seems Pat Murphy and Aaron Ashby are pretty in lockstep about this. And pretty in lockstep about, hey, I'd love to use you in any situation. And then Aaron Ashby is like, yeah, use me in any situation. Angel Serpa, first career save tonight. Wanted to get that in as well. So looking forward to it. Again, I'll be on pregame show tomorrow, Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app. We'll also be on the Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin YouTube page, 4:30 to 5:30 tomorrow. And looking forward to that. Before every weeknight game, I'm on an hour before the game talking about the Brewers and get you set for the ball game over there. And appreciate you if you've subscribed. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, do so. We'll be going live throughout the season and talking about the Brewers. They're 8-2 in the 2026 season. Thanks so much for watching, and we will definitely talk to you again soon. And once again, the final tonight, Brewers 8, Red Sox 6. Milwaukee is 8-2 on the 2026 season. Thanks so much.